Okay, in this video, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do constructions with a compass. I apologize, the quality isn't going to be great. I'm going to be focusing on the construction. The steps are going to be all listed below. I'm not going to go through each step one by one. I'm just going to do the construction, and then you can go back and use those steps to kind of remember what I did with each construction. I would encourage you to do this along with me. It's a great way to learn. And you're going to need a ruler, a pencil, and a compass in order to do this. I actually bought this compass and it came with a protractor at the Safeway for $2. Okay, so I was pretty stoked. All right, so let's get going. And I would print this out. I know it's a little bit like difficult to read. This camera is not amazing quality, so I'm just going to go ahead and go through each construction and do this on your own worksheet so you can kind of follow along. Okay, so I'm going to create an identical line segment, but I'm going to call it CD. So I'm going to start by drawing a line. You kind of want to go a little bit longer than the one you're looking at. I'm going to give the starting point the label C. And then I'm going to use my compass to figure out how long the line segment is. So I'm going to put it right at the center of the point A and stretch it over to B. And then I kind of like to make sure that it looks like it's going in the middle. And then I'm going to take the end and come over here. And then that's going to give me a little intersection point. Oh, that was kind of hard to see. Sorry, let me draw it a little darker so you can actually see it. There we go, a little darker. All right. And that intersection point is going to be D, and it's going to be the exact same length as A, B. And then you may want to go ahead and erase the extra to make it a nice, pretty little line segment. Okay, so let's try this again, but we'll do it for an angle. So we're going to start by drawing the bottom. Just giving myself a little, starting place here. I'll go ahead and call this. So we're going to call this a new angle DEF. So that would mean that E is going to be the middle. So DEF, right? Like that. Okay. And then I'm going to take my compass and I'm going to go ahead and just give it a little bit of an opening. And I'm going to indicate like a starting point, which I'll call D here. Oh, sorry, F, if it's going to be DEF. And I'm going to use, I'm not going to change that length. I'm going to come over here to this angle and I'm going to arc it out here, boop, just like that. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Boop. Oh, wow, I'm doing a bad job drawing here. There we go. Okay, and then I'm going to measure the distance over here on this angle from the intersection of the arc to the other side, right there. And that little intersection is going to give me like another little X. So I'm going to come over here, try to draw that as dark as I can. And there, that's where they cross, right there. So that will be D. And I'll draw a line through there. Try to go in the center. Oops. And there we go. That has reproduced the angle. I'm calling it DEF. It's angle B. Same measurement. And if I had a protractor, I could verify that I did it correctly. Okay, let's try the next one. So this is if we want to construct triangles. There's a couple ways to do that. Excuse me. This is where we know, sorry. Excuse me. This is where we know the sides and kind of using the idea of constructing a congruent triangle with the same exact sides. So it's a little bit thinking about the property side. So I'm going to start with the longest one. I'm going to create that line segment. I'm going to kind of go down here so I have enough space. I'm going to give myself long enough line. I'm going to call this A. I'm going to give it the same labels since we're kind of putting this triangle together. And I'm going to use my compass to measure out how long A and C are. Okay, and then I'm going to come over here. I'm going to mark that, and that's going to give me, it's kind of light, I'm sorry. That's going to give me C. All right, so now I'm going to construct use AB to construct like what's going to kind of happen upwards. So I'm going to come over here to this line segment, take my compass and figure out how long it is. And I'm going to come to A, and I'm going to kind of make an arc because I don't quite know where I want that to be yet. I'm going to figure out where B is as an intersection point. And I'm going to use BC now to help me do that. So I'm figuring out how long that is. And then I'm going to go to C, and I'm going to mark where B should be. So there it is. The X is where B is going to be. And now I can draw my triangle. Sorry, I'm going to turn my page, make it a little easier on me. It's probably weird on the screen. I apologize. Okay, and then you can erase all the little extra marks, and there it is. That's got the same exact lengths as those three. And it's much quicker than like using a ruler, like trying to measure them out. And it gets like, you know, it measures it up perfectly. Okay, let's say this time I'm given two sides and an angle. So this is kind of reminiscent of side, angle, side. We talked about congruent triangles, okay? So I'm gonna start by creating a side. I'm gonna start with the longer one. I'm gonna recreate N down here. Try to make it a little longer. All right, so here, I'm gonna label this A. And then I'm going to figure out the end of N. There we go. And that will be B. Actually, I'm going to do AB. Yeah, I'll do, it really doesn't matter, I guess. Well, if I want to be consistent here, I'll do C, like how I did above. Okay, so there we go. There's the line segment based on N. Okay, so I'm going to take now and I'm going to get my angle. I'm going to put it at A. Okay, so you might remember to do that. I'm just going to come over to the angle first, and I'm going to create like a little arc. I'm not going to do too big. Okay, I'm going to do that over here. Make it, you know, close in length because I want it to intersect where that's going to be. And then I'm going to reposition my compass at those 2 points of intersection. Right there. And I'm going to come over here and do the same thing. Boom, there we go. So that is where I want my ray to go through to make up my angle. Okay, now this length is going to be based on M, so I need to figure out that length. So let me come here, get how long that line segment is. Oops, kind of scooching off the side of the screen, sorry. And then coming over here, oh, pretty close in length. All right, so this is B. So that's actually what I want to connect, B and C here. And then I can erase all the extras, but there you go. There's triangle ABC based on these two lengths, which are there, and then that angle is being reproduced right there. Okay, so let's look at perpendicular lines now. So to create a perpendicular line, you need some points to work with. What I'm really going to do is create what's called a perpendicular bisector. So I'm going to label some points here. I'll call them A and B. And basically, I'm going to cut A and B exactly in half. And when I do that, that's going to end up creating a perpendicular line. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to kind of position my compass so that it's definitely over halfway. Okay, so over half of the distance between A and B. So that's definitely over half. And I'm going to create an arc above and below the line. And I'm going to repeat that for B, keeping it the same length. Don't change that. There we go. So those 2 points create a perpendicular line that's going to split AB exactly in half, which is not really what I was after. I was more after getting the line perpendicular, but this will be a right angle right between A and B. If they had given me this point off of the line, I could do some measuring from A and B and kind of reproduce that measuring over here to get this extra point. So it's kind of, depending on what you have, you're kind of creating this scenario where you've got a point above and below at exactly the same place. Okay, so then let's look at parallel lines. So I intentionally made this line a little crooked because I wanted us to kind of reproduce that angle through P. All right. So to do that, I'm going to place my compass and kind of create, here, I don't need it that big, create a mark from P to the line. I'm just going to mark it right there, and don't change this, leave that the same. And this little mark right here, that's going to be A. A is kind of like the equivalent of P on this line. Now, not changing this, I'm going to go ahead and reproduce now B. So another point on the line. It's kind of hard to see, I'm sorry. There's B. Same distance. Then I'm going to come over here from B, and I'm going to kind of try to reproduce B up here near P. So I'm going to create a bit of an arc. And then I'm going to come to P and figure out where that little cross is. Now this should be the same distance from A and B at P and kind of the same angle. So a little bit crooked, going through the centers as best I can. Yay, it looks parallel and a little crooked. So perfect, we did it. All right, last thing we're gonna do is bisect an angle. So a bisector of an angle means that you draw the line, or in this case, a ray, that literally makes these two angles exactly the same, equal, okay? So I wanna bisect this angle right here. So to do that, I'm going to need to find the magic point that over here somewhere where I draw a line that's going to go exactly through the middle. So I'm going to take my compass and I'm just going to create an arc, just make it a little smaller than the rays. All right. And leaving it the same, not changing it, I'm going to go ahead and create a special point here in the middle of the angle, a little X. That special point is going to be the special midpoint there. So here, I believe, I can't remember what I called this. I think I called it B. Okay, so this is, oh, sorry, this is C. This is A. So I called that point C, that point A, and this point I called D, just to give them labels to match up with the instructions. And I'll draw a line through here. And that splits this into two pieces, hopefully equal.